Hello, Facebook friends, agriculture teachers. I hope you had a great start of the school year. If you have started, here in North Dakota, schools have started. I know we just finished our first week. Some schools I think have been in for 2 weeks already. So we are back into getting into our routines, getting to know the kids again, and starting to enjoy the school atmosphere that some of us kind of miss during the summertime. I know, if you're like a lot of North Dakota ag teachers, we're busy through the summertime, state fair, county fairs, our state convention, SAE visits. So we get to see the kids throughout the summer. So that's kind of nice. But I thought I would jump back in with another set of videos. Yes, I said a set of videos. So this time I'm gonna talk about the program of activities this time, and I'm going to break it up because otherwise the video could get very long, and time is valuable, and I have a feeling you would lose interest, because if I was to create this in one video, I feel that it would take a long time. So I'm going to break it up. So today we're going to talk about the program of activities, also known as the POA. One thing before I get started, and I often get asked, how do you create your national chapter? And I always get confused on that because my national chapter is my POA. So I'll get asked, hey, share your national chapter application. Well, how about I share my POA with you? Because that's what your national chapter is based on. Yes, there's tricks to writing the national chapter where you might go back in and tweak something, but if you have a successful program of activities, you'll have a successful national chapter app. So I get kind of frustrated when people just want the national chapter, or I'll get some phone calls saying, hey, we're gonna start on our national chapter this time of the year, and I'm thinking, oh, well, how about we start on your POA? So your national chapter will be just clicking the activities you want in there. So keep on that. So we're going to plan your POA that will eventually lead into your national chapter application. But we're not going to talk national chapter on this set of videos. We're going to talk program of activities. So if you don't know what program of activities is, your program of activities is a written document that outlines your chapter goals and how you're going to accomplish those goals, okay? It also makes sure that you are completing a set of diverse, well-rounded activities that benefit your members as leaders, as community members, and helping them maybe choose a career in agriculture. So that's kind of what the purpose of the POA is. Every POA is different, okay? So I can't tell you what your POA should look like. I don't know your students. I don't know your community. Might not know the state that you're watching this from, so keep that in mind. But all POA has the same requirements at some point. And now there's the national POA, and then your state might have its own requirements. So keep that in mind. All right. So a lot of times you're going to hear POA, you hear divisions and standards. Okay. So you got your divisions as growing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture. So those are your 3 divisions. Within those divisions, each one has 5 standards right here. Okay. So those are the 5 standards that you're going to talk about. So when someone's talking about their leadership committee, they're probably talking about their leadership standard. Often I will just say committee in my chapter because the kids are a little bit more familiar with the word committee. So keep that in mind. So you're going to try to do activities that support all of this. If you're new to POA, maybe you have a new chapter, and you're not quite familiar with it, the next couple of slides will help you kind of figure out how you should set this up. So keep that in mind when going through this, is that, you know, these are what you should be doing. A lot of you probably already cover half of these these standards, but you realize you're not. They fit into one of those. All right, so the components of a POA. Now I'm going to give you the overall, you know, if you are doing a full POA, but I also will have North Dakota on the next slide, North Dakota, what they have. All right, so your POA is a working document. So just because you create it at the beginning of the school year doesn't mean it can't change. An activity might pop up. You're gonna add it in. You're gonna add the goals. You're gonna add the plan of action and the results. It happens. Even I still have activities. Someone will come to me with an idea. We'll plan it out. All right, a couple things to do. Review the national POA and then review your state POA. So when I and the kids are writing anything with FFA, I always make sure I have handbooks out. So here's the national guidelines. Here's our state guidelines. If you want, I can share this out. These are hyperlinked. Nationals has a lot of worksheets in there that you can use to help complete your POA, or you might end up like I do. I just create my own worksheets that help the kids do creating the POA. And then, of course, there's our state handbook, which is linked to our state website. You can find that under Participate, Awards, and then just scroll down to National Chapter, and then click on the National Chapter. There's a POA button in there, and it will take you to this. And also takes you to the national site, and there's some great links in there that you can use. So, what does your POA need? Well, you need to add your chapter officers, okay? Students do that when they log into AET and they select their officers. All right, you need the 15 standards. Okay, we talked about that on the previous slide. Now, you need a description for each one. Now, as we go through this series, we'll get more in depth with this stuff. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm just going through the components. All right, you need a committee for each one. So you need a chair and a co-chair, and you have to list them. There's a spot for there. Now, small chapters. You know, you might not be able to get 15 committees, but maybe you can get 3 division committees. Okay, so do that where that division is in charge of all those standards. So all of those students, you know, you might have to be creative. You know, you might have a kid that is a chair of 5 committees, because you're gonna have to list the chair and co-chair of each standard, but keep that in mind. That works. When I first started out doing POA, we had division committees, not standard committees, until I grew enough where I can have the 15. All right, you need to make sure you have a budget. Okay, your SMART goal, it allows for 3 SMART goals in. Some activities, I'm gonna be honest, might be only a 1 SMART goal. We just finished with my students writing their goals for the school year. I'm going to be honest, that activity, when I put that in the POA, I just put 1 SMART goal, 1 plan of action. Okay, it's one of those activities where I've done it so often where, okay, what else could I possibly bring in? I don't know yet, but right now it's just 1 SMART goal. Okay, so then with each SMART goal, you need a plan of action. Okay, we'll be going through that. Then once your activity is completed, you're going to go into the outcome of that. Was it unmet, met, exceeded? You're going to talk about the results. You're going to talk about the photos that you should be taking while you're doing it. And then I always add the participants in, because there's a button in AET that you can just click the kids that participated in each. All right, those of you that are in North Dakota, we do have a different set of guidelines for our POA, and these need to be done in order for you to have a successful POA, an approved POA, and to be able to participate in activities above your chapter to make sure that you have that POA there. Your POA must be done in AET. So you might type it out. Looks great in a Google Docs. You added color, fine. There's no place to turn that in. No more, there is no turning in a physical copy. It's done in AET. Of course, you can reach out and we'll help with that. All right, you need your chapter officers. In North Dakota, you only need 9 standard activities and then at least 1 in each division. So when you go across, you got your growing leaders, building communities, strengthening agriculture, you need at least 1 in each. And then your other 6 can be mingled in, okay? You need your 9 committees, okay? Chair, co-chair. You can also list all the members. Okay, you need at least 1 goal, so that means you need 1 plan of action. You need the budget for that activity, but you also need your budget for your whole chapter. And then as we go through this, I'll show you where the budget is located in there. So those are the requirements of what a POA is. And so the next set of videos will be breaking some of those components out so you get a good understanding. So we'll see you in the next video.